The Sportfishing Conservancy hosted the best practice workshop at the Center for Fishing in Largo, Florida. According to the National Marine Fisheries Service, we recreational fishermen release nearly 60% of all fish we catch each year. How we treat those fish we release every year not only has a huge impact on the marine environment, but also to us fishermen as well. In order to gain a voice as fishermen, we must employ best practices to lessen our impact on the resources and dramatically improve our opportunities in the future. Best practices are employing conservation-oriented tools and techniques to fish responsibly and lessen the impact on marine resources. Conservation-conscious anglers have been employing these practices for years. The focus of the workshop is to round up as many of the responsible practices as possible. Have a science team look at them with the fishermen and fine-tune where necessary.
Is conservation important to me? Yes, it is. And it should be to everybody. For the future of fishing and for our children and grandchildren to come, and use what's between your ears. Common sense is a big part of fishing, I think. And the R's, respect, reuse, recycle, and don't take a fish just because you caught it and then you find out you don't like it and then throw it away and waste.
The best fishing practices I have is I educate my kids on how to do it the best possible way. Using the correct tackle, using the correct bait, know when to fish, know what you're fishing for, and always clean up your mess.
Conservation is very important to me because that means that I can fish forever, my kids can fish if they want to, and their kids can fish, and we keep the earth as clean as possible and as healthy as possible.
My best practice, one of my favorite things, is to get the fish back in the water quick.
I think the best thing I learned was is how we can get the fish back into the water. I found different ways of getting them back down so they're not traumatized, and I learned that if a fish looks dead, it's not going to be dead. It could still be alive, and you can still get that fish down into the water so it can live another day.
My name is Bill Baird. I live in Largo, Florida, and I usually fish out in the Gulf. Well, I'm a wholesale distributor of fishing tackle, and we sell bunches of hooks. VMC is what we're a distributor for here in Florida. And ironically, during the normal summer period throughout Florida, I sell tons of 1/0, 2/0, 3/0 circle hooks. When the snowbirds come down, I see my sales shift 100% the other way to 7/0, 6/0 J hooks. Big water, big fish, big hooks. The locals, the people who live here, go out continually, they know a 1/0, 2/0, 3/0 hook is plenty for our waters around here. I always had the feeling that the government was against us fishermen, both commercial and recreational. And I found out here talking to the federal government, NOAA, and the Florida Department of Fisheries that they are for us. They want us to be fishing, and they want to improve how we fish and where we go from there.
Then by employing best practices in a coordinated manner, collecting and analyzing the data, science can count on the results. More fishermen and bigger fish means more opportunity for responsible recreational fishermen. The findings of the best practices workshops in the South Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico have been organized into categories, which were compiled from breakout sessions between local fishermen and marine scientists. 1. Knowledge of rules and regulations and familiarity with the resources and conservation objectives of sanctuary. 2. Fish handling techniques. 3. Decompression techniques. 4. Best practice fishing gear and proper application. 5. Trip planning. 6. Respecting resources and habitat. 7. Building confidence in best practices so they are adopted. 8. Building respect for fishermen as a best practice. A special thank you goes out to the Sportfishing Conservancy, Anglers for Conservation, Pure Ocean Productions, the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation, the Gulf Coast Center for Fishing, the Oceans Conservancy, the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, the Office of National Marine Sanctuaries, Gray's Reef National Marine Sanctuary, and the National Marine Fisheries Service, all for their support. For more information or to become involved with best practices, please visit www.bestfishingpractice.org.